Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and Rob's Realism mod. I am super excited to be back today with the Battle of Brest Fortress. This was a rather epic fight. It was quite special in many ways too. I'll go through why later, but first, before I get ahead of myself, I really wanted to give the mapper a quick shout out. It's available on the workshop. It should currently be among the most recent releases over on the Men of War Assault Squad 2 workshop, so check it out. It comes with a pretty good mission. I have, however, made my own one to suit my own needs and what you guys kind of like to see, so hopefully this should be pretty damn good. I'm very excited to get started. First, we're going to take a look at part of the map here that we will be using today. This is the one approach we will be tending to. It's hard to keep an eye on too many at the same time, so I thought we'd limit ourselves to a pretty good one here. I think I picked the best approach, the most serious looking bridge and the coolest approach in terms of the outside here of the fortress walls. So very excited indeed. We have a slightly, well, what do you want to call this? Like a outside defense to sort of keep the Germans at bay as long as possible, perhaps. We have a mortar over here, another one. We have some M37s, I believe. I believe these are 45mm AT guns, and they were produced until 1943. I don't see the purpose of these for so long, and I think after that year they realized that these are rather pointless against German armor, but still very light and handy AT guns. And then we have plenty of infantry covering the approach. Then we have the bridge itself, and two different ways to approach the center, which would be the old Orthodox church here in the center. The right, which is a rather quick route, which takes you into a bit of a hell zone, no cover or barely any cover, and plenty of Russian infantry, machine gunners and whatnot. Then we have the longer way, which takes you around the left side here through plenty of different entrenched infantry positions. Out here, where you will be facing two mortars, plenty of infantry, but slightly more cover and kind of an easier approach. It's just crowded with Russians, and I'm sure we'll see everything in action. The Germans will be relentlessly attacking this fort, and it might be a pretty long video, but I don't think anyone's going to bother or be bothered by a long and cool battle. And, I mean, of course, you knew that we were going to do this battle today, right? I mean, that's for everyone who follows me on Snapchat, so do that. DiplexHeated, it's very simple. Take part and be part of the latest videos. I do ask people daily what you would like, and someone suggested Brest Fortress yesterday, and so here it is. Huh? How cool is that? I spent hours making this. That's a lot of my time for a few fellas out there. So anyway, do that, and we'll communicate. I like open and read everything, and if it's a better question than like, what mod do you use, then I'll probably reply. Or if it's something cool, like sometimes people send me like cool pictures of old military stuff and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, you know, it depends on my mood if I'll answer or not, but I'll definitely read, and it's not like a bot running that account or anything. So yes, I think we have babbled on enough, or I rather, and I think it's about time we start this battle. So there was, this went on for a while. It was in 1941, so a lot of early war equipment. The attacking 45th Infantry Division, the German that one is, had, or was it the 45th? I believe it was the 45th, yes. It was actually an Austrian division, and it had really no tank support until later on in the battle, where the Germans actually did receive some Sturmgeschütz, which would be the Stug, and then a few artillery pieces. So we're going to try and recreate a slightly similar feeling here by sort of trying to recreate the final day of the fight here. As you can tell, this fortress has been taking plenty of hits and casualties throughout the other days of fighting, so it was a pretty interesting siege. Brest Fortress it is. Let's start. And the battle is on. We have the German positions back here, all ready to assault. Looking pretty good. We have an MG-34. Oh! German artillery that has been, I guess, bombing the Russian positions for quite some time. I think it went on for like 30 minutes before the assault, so we've come into the end. Oh my god, they are not all too well coordinated. Jeez. Whoa, we hit an airplane back there. It went flying. So unfortunately for the Germans this time around, no hits on the central positions here. That is quite devastating, but the assault is underway. The Germans have brought up their mortars. Sturmgeschütz is rolling in, and the infantry will be assaulting. Might as well just call it a Stug. Whoa. Holy crap. The Germans are taking a lot of fire early on. That Stug is going to open up, though, as it moves in, and it took out a Russian position rather nicely there. Russian mortars, or German mortars, dropping down on the Russian infantry. Excuse the mix match, or the mismatch of nations. Wow, cool. Both Russian mortars still active. Oh, that was a direct hit on one of them by a German mortar. We'll see how they're doing. Both are active and more German. Oh, and as I was saying that, there goes a second one. So the Russians and Germans are down to an even amount here at an early stage. And more infantry is coming in as well. The Stug up here, damn, speech impediment, is still active. Ready to fire, I presume. Might be looking for a few targets or so. One of the Russian mortar positions back here on the left side, which is in quite a nice cover. It's behind a slightly smaller ridge here in front of it, so they have a few MGs and PPDs, I believe, which is a more early war weapon instead of the PPSH. This is, I believe, the PPD-40. Very similar to the PPSH, though, but different. Mortar's trying to pin the Stug, perhaps even get the crew to dismount, but right now it would do most damage hitting the nearby infantry, but I believe that's the mortar barrel falling down there in the distance. It was indeed, so it is no more. And most of the Russian front position out here has been destroyed. There is some infantry remaining, though. The bridge itself has a few defenders, but otherwise it is pretty much free to cross here. We have some soldiers holding out here on the bridge itself. Some good positions. This is a very stern and solid position, so if they can keep their heads low, it'll be... Well, I was just about to say, there's a lot of people dying as we try and talk about them or focus on them, which is a bit of a... I guess I'm an omen or a bad luck or something like that, so... Definitely shouldn't be talking about too many units that we'd like to see live. Lots of submachine gun fire. The Germans are storming over the ridge, almost a little recklessly. German mortar in the back will be supporting, though. There's only a few Russians remaining here. Easily knocked out as soon as the Germans get the upper hand in numbers. Look at that. It's going to be a rather quick death for the Russians defending out here. Is this 80 gun has been knocked out? Most likely destroyed by the Stug back there, who is still firing at the other Russian positions on the other side of the bridge. We have a 1910, I believe, a Maxim. Whoa, and that thing is gone. Jeez, there's definitely some sort of curse around me talking about units and then seeing them die. I have no idea what that's about, but this is almost a little eerie. Way more German infantry start charging up, and you can look at the casualties for this battle and all the circumstances and all the units used, and it's just a little peculiar, almost a little medieval in many ways, but very cool indeed. Look at the German infantry storming down. My eyes like fade out. I'm getting like a weird spaced out vision there, looking at all the German soldiers running down, having a hard time focusing at a single point. How's it looking here on the other side of the river? That by the way you can cross, it's quite shallow. Well, a lot of the Russian defenders have been killed, but there are plenty still alive, holding out. Over here, especially further back where the Stug has not yet bombarded the defenders. I think we'll see a... first of all, we have more German infantry moving in here. Another platoon of infantry. And this mortar back here should be moved up momentarily, just so that it can support the German attack even further. Right now, they are in need of artillery support. But it's not so safe to be a mortar team up here right now. It's a little too chaotic, and they're still taking a lot of counter-artillery fire. They need to kind of cross. They need to really get across now, I think. They're running back into cover, reloading and patching up. People have been hit by shrapnels and bullets and whatnot, but The attack cannot stop now. Damn. I was being a little pushed back. There's just so many Germans coming in here. It's just absolutely insane. Such a cool battle. I think I'll read more about it after recording here to get a better sense of what we just witnessed as well. But I believe it was a fairly lengthy siege, and it had a lot of people defending it. There was plenty of NKVD forces. Even some of the families of the troops stationed at the fortress were there too. I think around 300 of them, which is quite a lot. And it was really kind of a last stand Alamo thing. I believe there's a Russian movie about it, where in the end, a bunch of the Russian surviving soldiers kind of charge out at them. I could be mistaken, though. That could be a different movie or a different battle. I think we're going to go ahead and take this Stoge and move it up a little bit. I believed it needed some repairs before. I did think I saw a tank crewman jump out momentarily. We'll park it right here. That should be excellent. And then we can turn it that way. Without targeting any enemy units or doing ultimately impactful decisions. Now the Germans are going to have a larger chance at kind of getting across. Wow, look at that. Russian artillery definitely doing its job, though, at trying to hold the Germans back. Look at the amount of craters around here. The Germans just definitely need to push through. They just need to get across. They have one very brave soldier out here to the far right. It's kind of doing his best to secure. I think he's going to be taking some fire from the Russians inside the fortress itself. Why don't we... No, I don't know. Oh, German mortar brought up. I missed it, but it's been marching its way up here. So it's going to be... Look at that, bombarding the fortress itself. I think it'll have a better chance at helping the German assault if it kind of tries to shell some of the Russians out here, and I think it's going to be doing so as we speak. Hopefully, for the Germans' sake, the mortar is not hit by any Russian counter-artillery. I think it's going to just, as I said, focus on the soldiers suppressing the German attack quite heavily on the outside here. Oh, on the inside too. Look at that. This mortar has even been hit. There's one man down here. I wonder where that mortar shell came from. It was definitely not the warm-up artillery, so to speak. It must have been another assault. Yeah, I definitely think the German mortars is aiming to do some counter-artillery, judging by the fact where the shells are now landing. And if they're lucky, they'll get some good hits. A few of the Russians near the mortars themselves are dying to the German artillery fire. Haha, wow. This is crazy. Are the Germans getting more soldiers across? I think we're starting to look at what looks a little more promising than before. A few German soldiers have made it somewhat closer to the fort itself. They can definitely move up here. They're just staying at a distance right now, trying to keep it a little bit separated. More and more German soldiers are coming in. It's gonna be, it's one hell of a frickin' slaughter zone over here. Can I move the tank up the on the bridge? I feel like that would be a badass thing to do. So, if it's possible, how could I say no to it? It works. I can confirm that moving the German armor onto the bridge itself is totally functional and possible. So, why the hell not? This tank isn't going to act on itself. I'm afraid it would just do something embarrassing if I gave it the possibility to drive on its own. So I think I'll just use it in the most logical manner. Imagine that I had this scripted. Look at it that way. So we'll just face it that way. Now it can actually cover the German troops that want to approach and appear up on the bridge. We'll see if it fires. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it is a supporting tank, and it's got a pretty good position. German mortar still active. The amount of German casualties is just insane over here. It is a bloodbath. You could fill this entire trench with body parts and blood. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Every time you hit that start button, you're going to see a different result. And I do think that under one of my testing times, or runs rather, I don't remember it ever being this nasty for the Germans. And I certainly remember that warm-up artillery doing a lot more damage early on. This tank is obviously not going to do much just sitting here, it seems. So, I love that engine. Let's just hear that engine roar. Isn't it nice? It's cool. I like the stub nose or the short barrel version. Okay, we're having slight issues navigating around here. I think we're going to have trouble even getting it to do anything else in particular. The gun is being moved. Otherwise, this is a cute position for a tank like this. It looks a little... It looks happy there. How's it looking on this side? Are we getting closer, boys? We do have some shooting here. Some riflemen duking it out with each other over there. Oh, they're getting closer now. How's it looking over here? Especially on this side, too. I believe we can cross here. It's definitely... It might be too deep. But it's a good position to clear out the outside defenders here before you have to get into the fortress itself. Wow! One mortar has been taken out. The other one is... I don't know. One of the soldiers have abandoned it. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So you should try and get back on it there. See if you can help your buddy get some work done. More and more soldiers are moving in the... They're going to run out of soldiers soon. Probably not. If you think about it, a battle like this, thousands could die over several days, of course. But this here is, despite the fact, only just a couple of hundred so far. And there are plenty of battling to be had. What is it? We have two Germans coming up on this side. They've run around because I guess the AI is sometimes pretty smart. Luckily, there are Russian defenders here, though, so they're not going to let the Germans just walk all over them. They're actually shooting the bridge to pieces. How cool is that? And over on this side, we have a lot of soldiers crossing. I'm certain they can get across. They seem to be making a deal out of it. Don't fuss about it. Get over the bridge. We have troops running over the bridge on this side where the tree has fallen down. And I think we'll soon see soldiers crossing onto this side. Or I think actually running across the bridge might be the best bet here. But whatever they choose to do, soldiers are getting in. And that is what matters right now. Soldier right here by the entrance. This is the one guy who has gotten pretty much the furthest into the fort itself. Plenty of fighting on this side. What's going on? More German troops flanking up on this side. I mean, it all makes sense, though, doesn't it? The Germans are free to do as they choose, and the Russians do have defenses everywhere, so I'm all in for the Germans being able to do some acting. Not acting, but decisive decision-making. Should we? We'll just leave this guy over here. We'll back it up nicely. Put it on the bridge itself and just... Let's sit there. Let it sit there pretty and all cozy and looking. So the Russian defense has definitely been weakened over the last couple of minutes. Germans are actually getting closer and closer. There's a bit of an opening here that allows them to run in and get some cover. Look at that. I hate people writing me on Skype. There we go. I don't think it even popped up. I do have this, like, game mode only, so it really only records the game, no matter the pop-ups or anything else. But the sound itself could be a little frustrating. I'm not sure it can be heard, though, over all the shooting and shit. Mosin's going to work. Ah, center precision hit. Machine gunner dead. Damn. I mean, this place has been bombarded pretty heavily before that. We can see a German bomber has crashed here. This is an HE-111, right? Or something like that? It should be. And then we have a Heinkel. For short, I think you could just say a Heinkel. Heinkel. Heinkel? Yes. Heineken. I'm joking. But anyway, and then we have just so many craters from like rocket. They also used rocket artillery at the start of this fight. So we have some Germans moving up on this side. I guess they're getting ready to move in. We'll see how they choose to approach this. There's plenty of Russian defenders here still. It's crawling with Russian defenders everywhere, but the Germans are starting to get in a little closer. This is a meat grinder, a classic meat grinder, but men of war theory and logic, not always though, but as realistically as it might appear to be, the more men you throw in, the likelier you are to get through, and I think the Germans are testing that right now. Two of them were quickly gunned down though. You saw some pretty freaking amazing tracer fire. More German artillery supporting. How's it looking on this side? They're dead mostly, but there's still a few Russian defenders here. But then again, these Germans are practically dead too. So how do these men get there? I don't know. They run up and then they run around, but I don't know why they get stuck so easily. I think from a developer's viewpoint, this might be classified as deep water and this is shallow, whereas it should be just shallow. It's a little sloppy. It's a great map, but there were a few things you could think over. And I don't think he's watching this video, so to say that you could think over, I don't mean him specifically, because this is a really good map, and I don't want to address him. I just mean as any mapper. Some objects are... You got to always check that all the approaches work. There was a big sign up here before that doesn't let troops cross under it. So every time I started the battle, all the troops would try and run around the entire map to get in. And I was like, well, the bridge is right here. You can cross it. But nope. This sign that went over the bridge had like a wall, an invisible wall below it, and you could not cross, and it made the battle look really weird and stupid. So, see, yeah, this here is a little too deep. These troops actually have to swim across to get over, which is a little stupid because these troops here will choose not to swim because swimming is annoying and it gets you all wet and shit. So they'll run around, which doesn't really save us any time. Anyway, back to the battle. German forces have now entered the fortress itself, and it's gonna be a really bloody standoff, as you can tell by the fact that everyone's just like dying. There's still Russians everywhere though. This church still needs to be secured. There ought to be some Russians still in it. Otherwise, there's definitely Russians on the outside. How cool is this though? I mean, this is fantastic. And the Germans, in a classic German fashion, are still receiving reinforcements. Loving it. This is an absolute graveyard, so good for the Russians, but the Germans are still receiving troops, and I think some are going to try and run around this side now, which is a pretty good idea. It would be cool to see some cross up here. Not a lot of progress over here, mainly sitting by, kind of like going for shots. I think running in here would be a suicide mission, so they're probably not going to do that at the first sight. This right flank has managed pretty well, though. They're storming in. There's no doubt about it. They're going in for it. And they're going to be fighting the entrenched Russians now. It's going to be very close and nasty. We have a Russian in there. I think it was... Oh, he was just shot, though. Cool. Headquarters back here being defended. I don't know what he's doing, but that's a machine gun that you should, you know, commandeer. There you go. Don't want him to act all stupid. He was just like laying next to it. Dude, your gunner has been killed. You might just have to, you know, roll over to the left and man the actual gun. Germans have secured this area as well, so this is all cleared out. Well, it is turning out to be a pretty historical Brest fortress battle. Although I guarantee you, I did not set up unlimited reinforcements. This might be one of those last waves, and I think it could have been needed because the Germans have just been taking overall so many casualties. Now these guys are moving in. This has to be the last stand. Can you enter this building? It looks like inhabitable or something, but there's a sandbag in the way, so I guess you could just defend it, not enter it. Riflemen, machine gunners, all pulling their straw to the stack. Germans being gunned down like crazy. We're going to see so many German casualties in here. It's almost starting to lag a little bit because of the amount of bodies and particles on the ground right now. I have a mod called anything stays permanently. Otherwise, some of the stuff would start dissipating, which would definitely help performance. Let's have a little preview of the carnage today. And how the fuck did that guy just die? I looked at him and he died. Is that the severity of my curse? The Men of War curse? So the remaining 4 Russians. This is the last stand. The last 4 Russians on this map today. Or in this battle. And there's still a machine gun making a lot of noise. Oh, they woke up. People like all probably zoned out for a second. I guess it'd be cute to try and evacuate them, but I don't think they stand a lot of chance of surviving. All the Germans have to do is swing in enough troops on this side and just clear it out. Or if the flanking forces here just maybe grew a pair a little bit and actually like ran around or something. I'm worried we're gonna like crash, so I'm gonna stop recording for just a second and then continue. There we go. Because I record in not MP4, and MP4 is usually recoverable. I record in AVI or something, and that is not recoverable. So if I crash like 30 minutes in without hitting that pause button or something, then yeah, then it's over. Game over. Game over. Re-record it all. And how many videos do you think have been delayed in the past year or so because I've missed and fucked up some recording and haven't like felt like redoing it all over again because it's extremely frustrating? A lot. I think we could put a pause on those German reinforcements if they're still coming in. I'm starting to feel some sort of lag frustration now. And they're all bunching up over here. Scheiße! Vielen deutsche Soldaten. A lot of German soldiers. Okay, I'm gonna take slight strategic command here of the situation. Nicht this or whatever the hell he said, never heard that before. And then do a little good old classic charge. You know, iconic German suicide charge that never happened historically. When you're just fed up, you put some MG34s on target and boom. See how quiet it got all of a sudden? And how, when the smoke eased up? Damn. Let's look at casualties. German casualties in red and Russian casualties in yellow. And you can tell that if this fortress wasn't strategically important, I think the Russians would like to fight. Oh, look at that. They would like to fight all their battles like this because they've just killed probably thousands of German soldiers. I want to look at some of the mortars back here and see what kind of damage they did. This one killed 108 men, and the other one we'll never know because it's actually destroyed. How many kills did this mortar get? 51, which isn't even close to it. It's not even half. Damn. Crazy. And there were 2 and more Russian mortars too. But I believe that was the last wave. There are no more deploying right now, and I think I said it totally. Cool. Oh boy, what a fight! What a bloody fight! Look at the amount of casualties. So cool. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon again. Ciao.